Watch your left flank. Watch your left flank. Help me, please help.
For over a decade, Nigerians have been repeatedly assured that their government is actively fighting terrorism. In this prolonged struggle, billions of dollars have been spent, thousands of soldiers have sacrificed their lives, and millions of innocent civilians have been forced from their homes. Yet the killings never stopped. But what if the reason the war never ends is because some of those in charge are keeping it alive? This is not speculation. There is evidence, some public, some buried, but all pointing in the same direction. Elements within the Nigerian government are funding, protecting, and profiting from terrorism. Former Defense Director, Major General John Anesh, a retired security analyst, publicly stated that the Nigerian government knows the sponsors of terror but refuses to prosecute them. In 2021, The Punch reported that retired Navy Commodore Colonel Olawumi confirmed that the authorities know the names of these sponsors. The Department of State Services has the list, yet the government lacks the courage to act. For years, insiders in the security sector have quietly said the same thing. The state is protecting those who fund violence. In 2022, the UAE released a list of 6 Nigerians found guilty of funding Boko Haram, after a lengthy investigation involving the U.S. Treasury and the international banking system. Their accounts were frozen and their networks exposed. But back home, nothing happened. The Nigerian government did not arrest them. They did not even open a local investigation. The U.S. Treasury Department also released these names under the utility sanction list, meaning these individuals operated with the knowledge and protection of high-level political figures. Still, nothing happened. Terrorism is expensive. Guns, vehicles, logistics, ransom payments all cost money. And this money doesn't vanish into the desert. It flows through banks. According to Premium Times, Nigerian banks have handled suspicious transactions linked to ransom payments, gold smuggling, and arms importation. The U.S. even shared intelligence with Nigerian financial agencies identifying accounts suspected of financing terrorism. Were prosecutions made? No. The EFCC knows. The DSS knows. Yet no action is taken. In Nigeria, terrorism isn't just a crime. It's a business. It doesn't stop there. In 2021, reports from the Cabal and Daily Trust revealed that the federal government paid 80 million naira to bandits for the release of kidnapped students in Niger State. Officially, it was called peace negotiations, but security sources confirmed it was ransom money. Public funds went straight into the hands of killers who, months later, kidnapped more students in Kano and Kaduna. Meanwhile, the government launched the so-called rehabilitation program for repentant terrorists. Some were sent abroad for education under the Operation Safe Corridor Initiative, a program that rebranded murderers as victims, while those truly victimized received nothing. As one Nigerian online said, "A farmer whose family was killed gets no compensation, but a terrorist gets a scholarship." A former Air Force intelligence officer described it perfectly. This government is fighting terrorism with one hand and feeding it with the other. In 2021, Nigeria's Minister of Communication, Isa Ali Pantami, faced global outrage after reports surfaced of his past sympathies for jihadist groups. Old sermons praising Al-Qaeda and the Taliban resurfaced. Citizens demanded his resignation. He admitted his past mistakes, yet remained in office, shielded by the presidency. To the international community, this was a red flag. Meanwhile, the former Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, admitted in 2033 that Christians were being targeted in Nigeria, a claim the government had long denied. Yet again, no meaningful action followed. Former Governor of Benue State, Samuel Ordom, publicly accused the federal government of colluding with foreign interests to Islamize Nigeria. In early 2024, a viral image showed Nigeria's vice president sitting with men previously declared bandits. The government called it a peace meeting. But for millions of Nigerians, it was an image of betrayal. While citizens pray for security, their leaders dine with the same people who burn villages and kill farmers. Kaduna cleric Sheikh Gumi, appearing in photos surrounded by armed bandits, openly advocated negotiation, claiming that bombing bandits would only worsen the killings. He even called the U.S. the enemy of Nigeria for proposing strikes against terrorists. Instead of arresting him, the government gave him safe passage. The image of a cleric sitting comfortably among men with AK-47s captures Nigeria's biggest scandal: the merging of state power, religion, and armed violence, where killers are rewarded while victims are ignored. Journalists, protesters, and whistleblowers face threats. Protesters are labeled terrorists. Activists exposing corruption are arrested. The government's priorities are clear. The real enemies are not those holding guns. They are those holding the truth. What we are seeing in Nigeria today is a cycle. Terrorist attacks, civilians killed, statements released, security budgets allocated. Part of these funds are siphoned off through fake defense contracts and corrupt procurement. The rest pays ransom, buys silence, and arms the next set of killers. Every tragedy becomes an opportunity to make money. Every crisis becomes a contract. That is why the war never ends. It was never meant to. The UAE released lists of terror financiers. The US raised alarms. The EU called for independent investigations. The only reaction from the Nigerian federal government was that these reports were damaging Nigeria's image. Soldiers die in ambushes because rifles jam. Villagers are forced to pay protection money to armed groups. The same terrorists are invited to peace meetings. This isn't about a report harming Nigeria's image. This is reality. The war Nigeria needs to fight is not only against insurgents in the forest. It is against the betrayers in the palace. The enemies in suits and Agbadas signing security budgets are far more dangerous. They kill not with weapons, but with silence, policy, and greed. Until those at the top are exposed and held accountable, the bloodshed will continue. The killings will not stop because Nigeria is not a failed state. It is a captured one. Captured by people who discovered that fear is profitable. Until Nigerians themselves demand accountability, the fields will continue to run red, not by terrorists alone, but by the system that created them.